Hello, everyone, and welcome to Never a Foul. Liverpool smashed, Leeds smashed, even Chelsea at home smashed. We said it. It's not going to be a close score. Me and Ty talked about it yesterday. Even me and Mahmoud talked about it on the Arabic channel. And I said Man City will smash Liverpool. Liverpool starting well, but Man City, they were too much for them. Arsenal, too much for Leeds United. They smashed them 4-1. And it's a punch for punch, as Ty told me before the stream. Welcome, everybody, to the stream, and welcome to all my guests. Sam here, repping Man City, Ty, Man United, but a little bit neutral today. Mahmoud, newcomer to the channel. Welcome, Mahmoud, for being here with us for the first time. Ripping Arsenal, as you can see, all around him. And Rack, I'm so sorry, my friend.
But you see you later. Represent the most. Someone's got to do it. So actually, you know what? Actually, respect to Rax for turning up, because a lot of people can just run away from streams, but no, it's actually good to voice it, vent it out, and you'll probably feel better after as well. But sometimes people don't want to talk when their team loses, so I actually respect him jumping on.
Yeah, but big up Rack. I actually asked him before the scoreline, and
that's it. That's the reason. That's the reason. If you asked me after the game, no, sorry, I'm busy.
But welcome, everybody. How are you, Sam? How are you feeling today? A little bit calm.
Sam, you need to show this blue top a bit more, man.
Yeah, you want to get the top out. I know these other two got the showing the colours, aren't they? Maybe as the pod goes on, it might heat up a bit, and you never know. But I'm feeling good. Good result today. Feels like we're building a bit of momentum now, even after this 2-week break. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it.
And Mahmoud, of course, Mahmoud told me before, he is not worried at all. Like we talked yesterday, and he said, I'm not worried at all. We're going to win this game. We're okay. Even though Mahmoud has a really hot take, I'm not sure if he's going to say it here, but Mahmoud, welcome to the stream. Welcome to Never Found, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. I love the show. I'm a big fan. This is my first time with you guys. I'm glad that it's on a day like this. It's not a coincidence. Today's April 1st. We won 4-1. Man City did the same. We answered the call. I had to put my my sweatshirt on. It's getting a little chilly up top. You know, we're feeling the breeze up on top of the table, and I can say that with chest today, because every time Man City called, we answered the call. So
you better not be scared of heights, because otherwise City might catch you.
Let's see. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
But let's start right away. It's one place to start, Ty, right? One place to start.
Oh, it has to be. We have to start with the first game that's got the Premier League back.
Chelsea Villa, yeah? Chelsea Villa.
Forest 1, Wolves 1.
The Premier League
we need people first. I need the likes to be up, guys, and we need at least go to 50 or 100 likes. Hit that like button for us. It looks like this. It's free. It's underneath your live chat. It doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps us massively. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel to Never Foul. Hit that notification button so you'll catch us whenever we go live. Listen, good half from Liverpool. I'm going to ask the first question. Is this Jurgen Klopp done? Is this like the second half was absolutely shambolic, Crack? Like, I thought he had a good plan first half, but what did he say at halftime that made these players play worse? What happened in the second half?
Just I think to address the first point. I mean, done in what's it like? Like
his ideas, out of ideas. Is his time done? 7 years. It's done or not?
No, it's not done. We are having a very bad season, and the team needs renewal. And there's no one in world football that I would choose to do that more than Jurgen Klopp. He's a world-class manager. Yes, he hasn't done. You
wouldn't pick another manager right now in world football to come in and take over Liverpool.
I don't think there's a better manager. Well, I mean, look, if you want to say Pep, but I mean, Pep hasn't done a rebuild like this either. So, like, I don't know who would be an obvious choice, to be honest. And we know Jurgen Klopp already is a world-class manager. He hasn't done a rebuild like this, but very few managers get an opportunity to do a rebuild because they're not there long enough. But we know Jurgen Klopp's a world-class manager. and yeah, I wouldn't, and I think that's that. I speak for probably the vast majority of Liverpool fans when I say that there's no appetite for Jurgen Klopp to leave or be sacked. He deserves that chance to rebuild the team. I've got questions, I've got concerns about how certain things are being run at the club, especially after a period of sustained success and just the way we've been run top to bottom over the last few years has been very good, and we seem to have moved away from that. So that's a bit concerning. Yeah, the second half was concerning. I mean, but it's nothing that we haven't seen this season. We give away. We are very open. We give away a lot of opportunities. We couldn't against City. You need to be switched on the whole game. You can't afford to switch off at any given moment. In the home game this season, we were switched on. We gave away very few opportunities, and obviously came away with a victory. And we started well today. And it was only up until it was after we conceded the first goal and things started kind of falling apart a little bit. But we went in at 1-1, and you kind of hope you can reorganize and go again.
Do you know what it reminds me of, Rax? It reminds me of when we played you at Anfield, and yes, you beat us 7-0, so it's a bit different. You came out in the second half against us at Anfield, and you scored like 2 within the first 5 minutes. The game was over at Anfield, and you blitzed Old Trafford. Blitzed us, sorry, at Anfield. Today, I saw a bit of the same thing, and I actually can say for the first time, I'm not going to say, wow, in many years under Klopp, because I don't think it's actually happened that much. But Mo, I'm going to be honest with you. This was the first time I saw Liverpool. It looked like they gave up. They looked like they just threw in the towel, and it could have been 5, 6, 7, 8. But by the time they scored 3 goals, Man City, it was just like this Liverpool team had no ideas. They didn't know what to do. The energy which we've been accustomed to over the years, obviously we know is not there this season. And I just saw a team that was begging for the final whistle, and that is not something that I can take lightly for a Liverpool side. And sorry, Rax, I know that you're on the show, and I know you're saying Klopp's the right manager. I'm not saying he's not, but I've got to come in here and speak how I feel. And I saw that Liverpool team give up today. Man City come out in the second half. And obviously, we'll let Sam give him the props for Man City. But on Liverpool, they just got blitzed in that first 5 minutes. And they had no return. They had no hunger or desire to get back in the game. And I think they lacked belief. And then a Jurgen Klopp team that I think is not tactically amazing. They played the standard 4-3-3 for years, and it's got them out of trouble. Individuals didn't really step up. They didn't really create a lot of chances. And it just looked like their plan A, which is only their only plan, had gone out the window, and they didn't have nothing else to do, really. And I just think mentally for Liverpool, that's a much more disappointing defeat than what the scoreline was, because I know the scoreline was 4, but that could have been 5, 6, or 7. The way they just gave up and just threw in the towel disappointed me a lot.
Even the first half, actually, I thought that actually they missed a lot of chances. They cut open the defense very easily, and it's all about, to be honest, Jurgen Klopp's tactics. Yes, he started okay, and it works in the transition, but I thought that high line, again, you're playing against Man City. Don't do that. It's very obvious. Anybody can. I can get anybody from the chat. I can get any one of us to tell you, please don't do that. Don't play that high line. And Sam, I want to get to Sam and ask him a question. Were you happy with that first half, or you thought that the first half was a little bit slow from you and you started really quick the second half? Jack Grealish, Rod Mahrez were very direct, and they caused a lot of trouble. So do you see 2 halves, or you saw a plan that was just waiting for the right moments to kick in?
Yeah, I thought we played well the full game, actually. I think even in the first half, I think we were I think when Liverpool scored, I think it was against the Villa play. It was their sort of first real opportunity, really. I think they'd only been in the box a couple of times or got around our box before that. And I think we were sustaining our attacks quite well. Just didn't have that final ball. And then, second half obviously clicked, and it was a lot more devastating. But actually, even in the first half, I thought we played well overall. And I felt like there was more chances in the game for us at halftime. I wasn't thinking at halftime, we're in trouble, or we're not playing as well, or we're lucky to be level here. At halftime, I felt like, right, if we a clinical second half, because that's usually our biggest downfall.
That's the thing.
If we're clinical, the chances will come. We just got to take them, and they came pretty quickly in the second half.
Yeah, Mahmoud, I want to ask a question. Was Rodri supposed to get sent off in the first half? And
yes, that's for me.
Oh, I knew this was going to come up. I knew it.
Well, you guys said it. Man City are Man City, and everybody has to be very fearful. But for me, the game changed after that second yellow that wasn't given. And I want to come to Rex, defense here. Liverpool played really well in the first half. I was quite surprised. If that momentum had stayed, if the legs stayed for the second half, it would have been a completely different game based on that yellow card. So for me, it was a yellow, absolutely. The game.
Wow. I completely disagree. I just want to put this out there before people come at me on the chat with the agendas. I want to put this out there, and there are records for what I'm going to say now. I do not think it was absolutely a second yellow at all.
Mo, you said something clever to me earlier. You said something clever to me earlier, which was not clever, which was true. You just said he's had three fouls, sorry, and you said
fouls. Yeah, one was not called because there was advantage. So 2 fouls called on him.
So 2 fouls, and it would have been 2 yellows. So
advantage. Okay, Mo, advantage is still a foul, right? You play the advantage because it is a foul.
So you want to tell me that?
No. Look. What I'll say is that sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. I'm not going to scream and shout about it because the City didn't get a player sent off. You have seen them given. The issue was that the foul wasn't bad. It's the fact there was a counter attack, but it didn't happen. I'm not, that's. I
counted 4 players, Rax, still facing Gakpo. Even when he turned Rodri, there was 4 players left in that defense. I don't think that's.
But
it wasn't a clear pull. It wasn't. It was a hand on a shoulder.
No, that's what I've seen.
It wasn't.
That's why I've seen. That's why I said you've seen them given. You've seen them given. I'm not gonna. Didn't change the course of the game necessarily. If he'd been sent off, obviously it's a slightly different situation. But there's no point.
Can I ask you guys a question? And this is a quick question. If that was Rodri wasn't on a yellow, and that was the first foul he could have done and would have got a yellow, do you think he gets a yellow for it if it's the first card?
Yes.
So do I. I think he gets a yellow.
But that's completely different. You know how it works, right?
Yeah, I agree with you, Mo. No, I agree with you because an advantage of 10 men and 11 men is completely different. For me, it wasn't a second yellow card, should I call it then? I don't think it could be.
Well, I thought it was naive a little bit from Liverpool. Just to finish off my point, you guys took it away from me real quick.
Right.
I put it on Liverpool's players not to make a meal out of it the first time around. Why weren't the players in Rodri's face after the first yellow? If they had made a bigger deal out of it the first time around, the second one would have definitely been worse. I felt that they kind of took they let it go. They didn't want to make a big sting about it.
I don't know how you can say that Liverpool players should have done this or that after first yellow cards. Like, I mean, in the first one was a yellow card. Okay, like what? It was nothing more than a yellow card. So what's he going to do? Gather around the referee? Yeah, like
not gather around, but
let me tell you how I would have done it if this was Pep Guardiolaism. The first pull, the advantage, the player should have asked for the yellow, and the second foul would not have been a yellow, and the third would have been a second yellow. Yeah. But that was the scenario. But anyway, I want to get away from this, and I want to ask Sam.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Man City performance. Jack Grealish today, to be honest, starring. Jack Grealish today starring. Riyad Mahrez today starring. And Julian Alvarez playing a perfect false 9 today, getting involved in the first 3 goals, if I'm not wrong. Sam, this is the City of last year. That's a different of City Haaland, where everybody's serving Haaland. It looks like everybody's serving everybody. Nobody is a focal point. Everybody is playing to how. Of course, that doesn't take anything away from Haaland because he might be there and might score 5 goals. But this is City's of last year. Do you agree in this? This is the way City played last year and the year before.
Yeah, similar actually with the front 3 as we lined up. I thought Bernardo would play in this game. I thought Bernardo would play instead of Mahrez, and I think the only reason Bernardo didn't start was apparently he had some sort of virus a couple of days ago coming back from the Portugal squad. So when I saw it was Grealish, Mahrez, and Alvarez, I was maybe slightly sceptical just in terms of I knew Liverpool would play a high line, not a lot of pace are running in behind, but actually the players that were playing in that front 3, and it almost became a front 5 with Gundogan and De Bruyne joining, they were the ones making the runs beyond Alvarez, and as a front 5, it was pretty devastating. And the two wingers, especially getting the wingers 1v1, the switches of playing, bringing them into the game was spot on. And yeah, Grealish really delivering in this game. Kind of since the international break, since the World Cup, he's really just started to grow and grow and grow. And he scored in 3 big games. And obviously in the Manchester derby, we didn't get the result, but he got the equaliser there. Arsenal, he gets the goal to take us ahead, I think 2-1 in that game. And now he scored against Liverpool and got an assist as well. So 3 really big games, 3 really big goals from Grealish, and he finally playing like I feel like he belongs in the team. I think he always kind of played like he was not starstruck, maybe felt a little bit inferior to your De Bruyne's and your Mahrez's, but now he's really sort of, it's kind of clicking for him. He understands his role. He's mixing it between keeping the ball and being direct and aggressive when he needs to. And I was so glad he got his goal today, because everything up to that point, I thought it was our joint man of the match along with John Stones, which I'll come on to. But yeah, Grealish today. That's the first performance I've thought. That's the performance of someone close to
£100 million
player. Yeah, that's the first time. He was devastating in that second half, especially.
180 people watching, guys, and we're not even on 100 likes. The look like this. Please hit that like button for us. It helps us massively, massively, massively. I'm going to come to Mahmoud and ask him a question. Is this Man City a scary one that can go on a run and win every game? I know you watched the game, and I know that you're looking at this and there. If they blow up Liverpool like this, what are they going to do with the other teams?
Absolutely. I'm quite scared, if I'm being very honest. And till today, I'm not predicting Arsenal to win the league, even though I would want nothing more but Arsenal winning. I honestly don't think that they're going to go all the way. I think Man City has enough to close the deal, just like they've done many times before. And I looked at the next 5 fixtures for Man City compared to Arsenal's, and it's night and day. I tried to do the math. Realistically, the difference is 2 points. It's not really 8 points. I write off the Man City game, right? As an Arsenal fan with PTSD over the last 19, 20 years. So I wrote the game off, and to me, with Man City's game in hand, it's a 2-point league, right? So anything could happen over 7 games. 2 points is not a big, comfortable cushion there. So I'm afraid that Man City are the real deal. They are the ones to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's one of them ones. Like, Mo, I'll be honest with you. I look at that Man City team today, and I've always questioned them in terms of their performances this season, because they haven't been the Man City of 2-3 years ago. I work with Sam. I sit next to him. We talk about it all the time. And he's even said that despite where they are in the league and in the Champions League, it's not like being the Man City we've been accustomed to. However, I've always said that the fact that they're within this sort of 5 to 7 point remit of Arsenal, they're still in the Champions League, they're still in the semi-final of the FA Cup, despite me saying every week, and Mo, me and you have done this together, Man City, they're not clicking fully, they're not convincing us. They're still winning games. They're still in this pot, for the Premier League. And Man City normally come good at this time of the season. Now, if Man City are doing all that despite not firing to the best of their capabilities, what will they do when they start firing to the best of their capabilities? Yes, okay, there's only 8 games to go. They might not start firing yet. But today's performance showed me that without Erling Haaland, and when he does come back, they've got options. They can score goals. Everyone's playing with confidence. I was worried about City today in terms of it. We got to the 60th, 70th minute. Bernardo was their only proper attacker on the bench, and he had a virus. But they done what they needed to do. I said in group chats, they need to kill this game off by 60 minutes. And that's what they done. And do you know what? Jack Grealish, despite all your critics, people need to applaud you when you play well. He was fantastic today, Mo. That was the best performance for me, I think, all round that I've seen in a Man City shirt from him. And people could say, oh, yeah, like, obviously you got the goal and that's the reason why. No, it's not even just because of the goal. I think it was a big game. Man City needed to win. They went from 1-0 down. He was retaining the ball well. He was winning great fouls. Me and you were moaning at each other about how annoying it is as a neutral because he wins them clever fouls. He's being direct. He's keeping the ball. I never see him give the ball away. I've just got to say that this player was growing and growing. And at his age now as well, he's 27, I believe. The way he is physically and the way he is so durable as well, he's probably coming actually into his prime now because he doesn't rely on pace. Players that rely on pace, sort of you see them at like 30 and 29 start to slowly decrease. I feel like the way he plays the game, he'll still be great at 28, 29, 30, 31 because the style he is. And, I think Pep is really getting it right with him. And it could be scary because he could be even better next season. That's how I'm looking at Grealish. I'm already thinking, if he's firing now after the World Cup, imagine a full season next year. Now he's adjusting more. So, yeah, big up Grealish, man. I've got to give him his flowers today.
To be honest, today I thought Grealish. Go ahead.
I want to ask you a question. You obviously watch Inter Milan and you've seen players like Brozovic. You've even watched Man United back in the day, the Carricks, the Scholes and stuff like that. For John Stones to play in that midfield when he's a natural centre-back, what did you think of him today? Because I thought he was very, very comfortable on the ball in there today.
He's a very good footballer. We knew that from his Everton days. That's why Pep Guardiola signed him. It's simple today that he has the firepower to give away one of the fullbacks to put it in the midfield because of Nathan Ake's brilliant performance. It's not because of Akanji. Also, Diaz is great, but because of Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake provides you with so much ability defensively and offensively, and this gives him the chance to put John Stones in the midfield because Nathan Ake was brilliant today. I know that Mo Salah scored, but Nathan Ake is very good, and I think this is why John Stones can afford to be in the midfield. John Stones today proved that he can be that defensive midfielder. He's faster than Rodri, but he's not as good as Rodri on the ball, but sometimes next to Rodri, you'll need someone like John Stones. He was good defensively as well. Sam, do you see this 3-5-1-1 thing with Kevin De Bruyne behind the forward is the way to go forward, even when Haaland comes back?
Yeah, Pep's been persistent with this system since the World Cup, and I feel like he's not going to change. He's not going to change it now. We've had the three centre backs with somebody coming into midfield alongside Rodri for the most part of the season. Now it was Rico Lewis at one point. It was even Bernardo at one point. But now I think he's settled on it being John Stones. And yeah, John Stones joint man of the match for me today with Grealish. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I think I'm trying to wrap my brains of another centre back in world football who could play centre mid, right back, and centre back all in the same game and execute it just incredibly. Like, he was doing everything. He was slotting at centre back when he needed to be. Sometimes he was defending high balls and crosses, doing the usual dirty work, the nitty gritty of a centre back. Sometimes he was going out wide and had to press up and engage Andy Robertson or deal with Jota on the right hand side. He was dropping in midfield alongside Rodri. He was even pushing up in the second half beyond and into the front line, making runs for De Bruyne to give angles and things like that. Yeah. And sort of the technical quality to mix it with those front players like Gundogan and Alvarez and Bernardo. You know, a lot of midfielders in the rest of the league would look out of place trying to link up with those players. And there's John Stones centre back moving into midfield and then moving even further forward and looking comfortable. It's just frustrating that his injury record has been what it is and he's in and out, because John Stones for me is a world-class centre-back. And every City fan would agree with that, who watches him week in, week out. And anybody who watches him week in, week out, when he's fit and he's playing and you got him on the pitch, he is unbelievable. And he showed that today, to be honest. He was absolutely top-notch.
To move to another centre back then on the other side, which is, I want to talk a little bit about Virgil van Dijk. I'm one of the biggest fans of Virgil, Rock. However, today, is he the one that is responsible for all of this in terms of like the defensive, or he's being left alone? The way I see it, he's just being left alone. Like the way Kevin De Bruyne ran for that second goal, I think, or the third goal, where Julian Alvarez played the ball to it's like he is closing in Julian Alvarez, and Fabinho is in no man's land trying to go after De Bruyne. And I thought that this is not a system of defense now. It's just everybody has to do a one-man job, and that's it. And if one man falls behind, just Fabinho or Henderson or Trent or Robertson, doesn't matter who it is, the whole system breaks down. Do you think that Virgil van Dijk is done at the top level? Like, does he need better cast around him, or what happened to this guy? Because it looks like nothing is working for the defense of Liverpool.
No, I mean, Virgil's not having his best season. So it would be ignorant to suggest otherwise. He hasn't been quite at the same level, but I mean, anyone who's played football at any kind of level knows that when, defensively especially, it's not just about individuals, it's about a unit. Quite often in the past, Virgil's individual quality has made up for situations where he's been 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 with attackers and has come out on top. But ultimately, as soon as someone's out of position, and the way we've been playing in recent seasons, it is a high risk, high reward game. As soon as you miss tackles and you have players running at you, and you saw today for the first goal, for example, the the ball comes into De Bruyne. He puts it around the corner with a delicate touch. Then Robbo's out of position. That means Virgil has to step out, and that creates the gap on the far side. Trent steps in and Konate steps in, and that creates a space out wide. And then Alvarez is in there to knock it in. So it's more of a systemic thing, but individually he hasn't been great. But look, you need to defend as a team, and midfielders need to track runners. Midfielders need to slot in as and when required. And if you don't get that, and you're having 5 City players running against 4 Liverpool defenders, it's going to be a long afternoon. And City, with the quality that the KDB has, and Grealish today was, again, as you've mentioned, was good. They're going to make you pay for any mistakes that they make, and they did.
Yeah, let me ask you the last thing about Liverpool before we move on to Arsenal Leeds.
Do they get top 4?
No. I actually. Do you take any positives from today at all, Brack?
Today, no, not really. I mean, the only the only positive is City was the hardest remaining game, and it's finished now. So that's about it.
So you think you can make top 4?
I think it's very much touch and go. Like we need to go to Chelsea midweek and get something, and I think we need to beat Arsenal next weekend.
Yeah, 100%. So we're gonna. I want to move to Arsenal Leeds.
Yeah, guys, keep running up the likes. By the way, just quickly, there's over 200 here. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you're new as well. I see all the comments. Guys are flying in with great comments today, so we really do appreciate it on your Saturday night as well. So yeah, just keep liking the video and support all the channels as well. And big up Sam and Mahmoud and Rax for coming on. But yeah, go on, Mo. Sorry. Yeah,
Mahmoud, we talked about Arsenal, and I told you it's going to be an easy game, and you agreed. It wasn't an easy game. The goal a little bit was late, penalty. Questionable penalty. People say soft. I don't think it was soft, but a lot of people said it was soft. Did you think it was a soft penalty, or do you think it was stone cold penalty?
No, you're never gonna get that from me. It was a stonewall penalty. Okay, see the reason for my anxiety in the first half was the international break. You could tell watching the players in the first half that everybody's still coming back, and that's why many of us hate these kinds of breaks, because it breaks the momentum heading towards the last end of the season. But once the players got back into the groove, you could see the real Arsenal playing in the second half. The one thing that I could take from the first half is the penalty, the fact that Odegaard held the ball for like a good minute, everybody thinking that Odegaard is going to take the penalty, but then handed it to Gabriel Jesus to take it and to slot it in as cool as he could be. For me, that was the highlight of the first half. The rest of it was kind of competitive. I know, Leeds had a couple of chances. Ramsdale to the rescue, as we expect. For me, one of the, the players of the match. But then the second half was easy. We could score more if we wanted to. I did not like, and I know you didn't ask me about it, but the one bad thing I would take from that game, if any, was seeing Trossard on the right. For me, it didn't feel right. Him and Odegaard felt like they got too close to each other, and it wasn't clicking. Watching Saka play with Odegaard, they read each other really well. They know when to occupy the spaces. But having Trossard instead of Saka, and I understand, of course, that he's coming back from the break and he needs, to rest a little bit. It didn't work. And once that changed, I started to breathe again. Once I saw, Saka back in the team and Trossard a little more central. So for me, it was a good game, an easy game, a little nervy in the first half, but, walk in the park.
Sam, where do you see Arsenal fall? If you see Arsenal fall, I don't see it. I don't see this Arsenal. This Arsenal made Everton game so easy, made Fulham game look so easy, made today's Leeds game so easy, which is these teams are fighting for it.
Yeah, this is what they're doing, Mo. Do you know what, Mo? It's actually a great point, because I was even listening to the radio, and just before Sam comes in, they were saying that, where teams can have a bit of pressure, the games they're expected to win, sometimes you can get a bit nervy. They're actually just winning these games kind of in cruise control. And it's like, you're not even thinking, oh, Arsenal going to score the last minute, are they going to concede? The game's 2-3-0, it's done. And I think the way they're beating team they should be, It's very professional, man. It's very mature. But yeah, I'll let Sam come in. But I agree with that.
Yeah, I think a few weeks ago after we played Nottingham Forest and we drew 1-1 away, and the gap went to 5 points, I think it was. After we'd beaten Arsenal, and then Arsenal got a last minute win, I think, against Villa. Gap went to 5 points, and I looked at these set of fixtures and I saw that Arsenal were playing. I think they were playing Bournemouth at home. I think they had Everton at home, Palace, Leeds, and that Villa away game and Leicester away, I think. And I thought we've got to now keep this gap to 5 points, because I think Arsenal are going to win every single one of those games. We've got to keep the gap to 5 until it gets to the point that we're going to get to next week now, where Liverpool have got to play Arsenal at Anfield, where Arsenal have got to come to us, where Arsenal have got to go to St. James's, and they've got to play Chelsea in the next few weeks, and they've got to go away to West Ham, who are now scrapping, which is another London derby. So I was kind of always expecting Arsenal to win these games. So I'm quite glad to now get to this point where the gap is still 5 points. And now it's kind of going to be interesting, because now we're going to the territory of games where maybe they're not expected to win. There's a reason for that, because they're coming up against harder teams, better opposition. But for me, it's going to be interesting next week how Arsenal are going to do against Liverpool without Mo Salah.
Oh, yeah.
Without Mo Salah?
Yeah, because every time Arsenal play a team, their best player doesn't seem to be playing. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. We've had it with Maddison.
I didn't understand the banter first. I didn't get the
banter. Yeah, we're just going to have to see.
Oh my God, that was brilliant. You know, you had me. You actually had us thinking, is he suspended? Has he got like an injury tonight? But yeah, it's so true. Arsenal's luck of players being missing. It wouldn't even surprise me if Mo Salah goes and does his hamstring and he's never injured. But yeah, that was great.
Don't start saying that.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It's a bit of a crazy streak they've had with their opposition teams, but it won't. You know that it's a freak and it won't carry on. But I mean, if Salah does get injured now, there's some weird voodoo shit's going on at the Emirates.
They're gonna come for you.
Oh, really? Yeah, we're going to come looking for you, Sam.
They're really going to come for you. Rack, I got to ask a question. Being in a title race with Man City and getting used to it, do you see this Arsenal team going all the way, or do you see them crumble and crumble under the pressure and not getting enough points, and then City catching up to them and same old City win the league?
So I'm one of the people that said that I think Arsenal are going to win the league. I said it after the City Spurs game, where actually City won 4-2, but they were 2-0 down at half time, and at that point it just made me think that this is not the same City team. They're not playing anywhere near the same level they have in recent seasons. Yes, they'll go and smash a team 4-1 like today, but they can equally go and get a draw at Nottingham Forest. The consistency and the you can't trust them to get a result. Now, obviously, Arsenal needs to capitalise on that. And if things turn around and Arsenal stops capitalising it and City go on a run, then I think it will be very difficult. But I still haven't seen enough this season from City, because if City, I don't know who City are playing next, but if City, Southampton. I mean, okay, Southampton are pretty terrible, but so are Nottingham Forest. Mind you, we also lost Nottingham Forest. Anyway,
don't bring that up.
Yeah, I know. If City go to Southampton and get a draw, that wouldn't surprise me, because they've dropped points in some silly games. This is why I think City aren't quite the team that they have been in recent seasons. Maybe it's the Erling Haaland factor. Maybe it's how they've been. I don't know, the way they've been creating chances or not finishing off chances, as Sam mentioned earlier on. But I stand to be corrected. City obviously do have a substantial amount of pedigree, and I can understand why people will trust them to do it. But I also think that Arsenal have grown as a team this season, and look, if we beat them next week, then the pressure will be on, and then again it will be down to Arsenal to step up, and then we'll see if Arsenal have the balls to do it. But for the time being, I'll stick with my mid-season. I don't know. It wasn't start of the season, because I don't think anybody had Arsenal here at the start of the season. But since that game, I've said Arsenal are going to win the league, and it is because Arsenal are very good, but it's also because I don't think City have been at the same level this season as they have in previous seasons over the course of the last 30 games or whatever.
I have this agenda that I think this is what's gonna happen. But before I go, everybody that is asking about Inter, I'm gonna have an Inter worldwide at 10:30, and I'm gonna do the Inter thing. But this
Wait,
is
did they
we're not
lose?
here about Inter. Yeah, we lost today to Fiorentina at home. Lukaku has been shit. But anyway,
Yeah, I saw the chance.
I have this thing about Man City, that the squad, and I had this talk with Mahmoud as well. I don't think the squad is as deep as we make it to be. The squad is not deep. When the cup comes back, when the Champions League comes back, I think City might not have enough players to actually fill for all these games. That's what I think. I think, especially with Foden injury, today, as you guys said, they had only one offensive option, which is a midfielder, an attacking midfielder in Bernardo Silva. They had no forwards. They had no wingers on the bench. They mostly had midfielders and a defensive players. Cole Palmer, still a young player, yes, but he's not the guy to come in and step and change the game. He might do it one game, but he's not Haaland, he's not Foden, he's not Alvarez when you come off the bench like this, like Sterling last year, Son is these kind of caliber of players. So I think when the Champions League is back, which is next week, and when the cup is back, City might have to prioritize some games. I'm not saying they're going to prioritize competitions, but they're going to have to prioritize games. Sam, do you see this happening at all?
I can see the same set of players just playing every
game,
every week, every few days, because you're right in that, in terms of, our squad is incredible in that we've got 15, 16 players who are ridiculously good. But actually, in terms of the size of the squad, in terms of the numbers of like senior professionals in the squad, it has really gone under the radar how small it is. City have used the least amount of players of any team in the Premier League this season.
Sam, you saw it towards the end of last season when Kyle Walker went down, and there were fans out here saying,
"Can I remember Fernandinho centre
back?"
Yeah,
no, Rack is absolutely right in terms of last season when we didn't get through to that Champions League final. Some City fans are actually saying, "I'm glad we're not in this final, because if we had gone through, we literally wouldn't have a defence." Like that last game of the season, I think we had Laporte, who was injured and needed surgery straight after the season, Fernandinho, and we played John Stones at right back, which was sort of this early phase of John Stones playing at right back, and Zinchenko, who's now gone. So, yeah, last season we were hanging on in terms of defence with very few defenders fit. This season, luckily, everybody is fit at the moment, apart from Foden and Haaland. But even with just those two injuries, all of a sudden, the other three forwards in our squad all had to start today. And if you actually looked at the bench in terms of options, you've got Bernardo Silva who could come on. And then in terms of attacking, that was it. So, yeah, it's the squad. The squad is made up of 16, 17. Mahmoud, you can do that all you like. It's a fact there's 16, 17. There's 16, 17 quality players in the squad, but there is only 16, 17 senior professionals in the squad. You can go on the website and do a little.
Do you think, Sam?
Mahmoud thinks
otherwise. By the way, I'm not hearing any of this. The expectations for this season is Man City winning the league and winning the Champions League. Okay. No excuses. No excuses. They're the defending champ. They have to win the league, and they have to win the Champions League that they got very close to year after year. All this rubbish and about Arsenal winning because other teams are losing their best players. That's the weirdest take I've ever heard from a City player. From a City fan. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of Pep and City. I have a lot of love and respect. Over the past 5 years, I used to watch City instead of Arsenal. That's how good they were playing. That's how enjoyable their soccer was. This year, you guys are something else. Arsenal are winning convincingly every single game. All right. There is no excuses for City to bottle the league or the Champions League. I don't want to hear it. When you have Bernardo Silva on the bench to bring him in the 70th or 75th minute, I don't want to hear nothing about young players. Arsenal is the second, if not the youngest squad in the league. Arsenal lost Gabriel Jesus for 3 months since the World Cup, having gone on a great run before that. Thomas, I'm not going to talk. I'm not making excuses. I'm just rubbishing this agenda that was mentioned between Sam, which I have a lot of respect for. Of course, don't take Don't take it any wrong. Or Mo, because Mo, your take is weird as hell. That City cannot field two different teams.
They can't. I'm
stating
stating a fact.
No, I'm not
I'm
taking
stating a fact.
Nah.
You're
making excuses for City
I'm not making excuses.
It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's an observation. No. At the end of last season, in the final 5 or 6 games, there were Liverpool fans, and not just Liverpool fans, other fans saying Liverpool have a stronger squad than Man City because they were down to the bare bones. Like, they had Kyle Walker. The vast majority of the defense was either crocked or injured. Now, don't get me wrong. If everybody is fit, then it's also a different story. But they also let not Rodri, what's his name? The fullback
Cancelo.
go to Bayern Munich, which was retrospectively. I don't know. I'm not going to question Pep. Who am I to question Pep? But it's a bit of an odd one, just because
that was by choice, right? That he chose.
I agree.
But Mahmoud, that doesn't change the fact that they're thin. The squad is thin.
I'm sorry. The
How
way
is
you're
that
thinning
even
it,
possible?
it should not be mentioned when we're talking about the last 7 or 8 games of the league. You're paving the way for City so that when they lose, they didn't have a deep enough squad, and I'm not.
No one's making excuse. No one's making excuse for City. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm not making excuse for City, but I'm just saying it's an observation.
Can I do this super chat and I want Mahmoud to answer it? It's saying, how can this Arsenal fan be loving Man City? Mahmoud, can you answer this?
It's simple. I love Pep. I love the way City plays. I enjoy City games. All right. And I've been watching them since day one. In fact, a lot of people now compare Arteta to, Pep's ball and the fact that he trained under him and so on and so forth. But how much of Pep's ball is influenced by Wenger? All right. I watch Arsenal since the 90s, and I know the reflections of Wenger ball and Pep, with all due respect. And I love Pep. I think he's the best manager in the world. But Man City coming up reminded me every time they played with the way the great 1-2 football that Arsenal used to play, the fluid football. I'm an old school, all right. I'm in my late 40s, so I appreciate not the stats or the assists or things like that. I appreciate what I'm seeing watching the game. I enjoy Man City play compared to other teams, which I hate watching. So there's nothing wrong with enjoying, another team the way they play football. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Don't you guys enjoy Arsenal? Let me flip the question on to you, Sam and Ty and Rak and Mo. Don't you guys enjoy Arsenal? If you take your fan hat off, don't you enjoy the way Arsenal play this season, especially? If you're being honest,
I respect it. Do you know what? I respect the consistency, I think, from Arsenal this season. I think that's the main thing I want to stick out, because some teams can play good football, but then sometimes the results aren't always there. But you've been actually playing the good football and getting the results. I think if you look at you won 24, you've drawn 3, and you've lost 3. I said to Mo the other day, it reminds me of like a boxing record. That's what like a good fighter would sort of have on a boxing record. So for me, I think, I respect the way Arsenal played this season. And I do think if you win it as well, you deserve it. Like that's what I have to go out and say. If you guys go and win it after 38 games, it's consistency. And, you've been good across the board. Someone's been saying about like your player of the seasons. Of course, maybe Saka might go and win it, but then you could, people could scream Saliba in the time he's played, Ben White. You're looking at Odegaard, then you're looking at Saka. When you've got multiple positions who people talk about, but if for a player of the season, you've got 2 defenders there, you've got a midfielder, then you've got like an attacker / forward, you could say. That just shows the consistency throughout the team. So, I respect Arsenal. If you go and win it, then you deserve it. I don't want you to win it, Mahmoud. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't want Arsenal to win it. And I was a big City fan today, but you guys have been consistent, and I do respect where you've gone this season. I'm just intrigued to see where you grow from here next year.
I want to, before we, I know that people want to watch the fight and all the stuff. There is one thing that I want to touch on before is that, in my opinion, it's Arsenal's to lose. That's how I feel. That's how I think about it. This is Arsenal's to lose. Arsenal from here on, I don't care if you play Chelsea away. I don't care if you play Spurs. It doesn't matter. You want to be champion, you have to earn it. And you have to win against these teams. Man City won against Arsenal, won against Man United, won against Liverpool today. They lost to Spurs. So that's why they're behind. So Arsenal, they have to do their job. Nobody's going to hand Arsenal the league. However, if they lose it from here on, with 9 games left, 5 points ahead of City, assuming that City will win the game in hand, I think it's a big missed opportunity, and I think it's a failure to buy it. Because I'm going to say that again, expectations change with circumstances. And the circumstances now for Arsenal is that it's theirs to win. That's how I feel about it. And I'm not sure if anybody feels different way, because I want to move to Chelsea, as Ty is pushing me because of the fight. I know that.
Yeah.
But
Peter,
this is how I feel about it. So I want to get 10 minutes on Chelsea, and I want to get everybody's opinion. And for
we
me,
can all enjoy this.
Absolutely, because for me,
keep smashing the like, people as well. Come on,
people, don't believe me when I say they ruined the market, and spending that much money isn't in the good of football. And I disagree with it, and I don't like it. And if it was my club, I'll be happy because it's my club, but it's not my club. So I'm jealous, and I don't like it, and I don't want them to win. It's as simple as that. So anybody, you can take the mic and talk about the downfall of Chelsea being the bottom half of the table.
Go on, Rax. You've been waiting for the moment.
Look, man. We obviously didn't have the best day today, but the thing that makes it all worthwhile to some extent, doesn't make it all worthwhile, but the thing that makes it a little bit easier to deal with is Chelsea's downfall. I can't even enjoy Chelsea's downfall that much because this season we've been terrible, but Chelsea's downfall has been pretty funny. And I say that as someone who actually likes some of their players, and I like Graham Potter, but I think it's just there's a lot happening there. I think long term, maybe they'll be okay because the people they've put in the back room and the recruitment team and stuff, they do have a proven pedigree. But it's a bit of a crazy situation. It's a bit of a crazy situation, and but I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Are you guys surprised that Potter is still here, or do you think he should have been gone by now? Because obviously the league's kind of done for them. But I said to Mo the other day, actually it was yesterday when we were doing the Premier League preview. Obviously they've still got the Champions League to play for. So for me, these players will want to start winning games. They want to get momentum, because even though everyone's like, oh, the league's done, like they've got nothing to fight for, mentally you want to go into the Champions League game against Real Madrid with some confidence. Also, these players are playing for their places to start in the Champions League games. If you play well in the league games, Potter's going to want to be more able to trust you in the Champions League. So the more you don't perform, the more chance he's going to rotate you or whatever. Mahmood, are you surprised that Potter is still here, or did you always feel that, like, no matter what happened, they spent the money, it's part of a 5-year contract, the plan is more focusing on next year?
Yeah, no, I understand all the calls for Potter's job right now. I think a lot of people are gunning for his head, but I honestly, and I'm loving every second of it, just like everybody else. Obviously, I enjoy the downfall of Chelsea. But to be honest, and if I take my Arsenal hat off for a second, I think they need to give Potter more time. Listen, there is no billionaire on earth that writes off a check for $100 million and just considers it a write-off. That's not how billionaires are created. Okay, this guy has a plan, right? And he's not gonna, I would be surprised if he got sacked tomorrow, but I want him to stay. I want him to give him the time. He was a good manager at Brighton, and we can think of a million reasons why it's not working right now, but you need to give it the time. Chelsea has good players. All right, there's potential there. Give him the rest of the season, right off the rest of the season. Give him the summer, sort out the players, who's leaving, who's coming. It reminds me a lot of Arteta's, beginning reign at Arsenal. We had Kostafi. Who remembers Kostafi at the back?
Yeah, Mustafi. Yeah.
Koscielny, right? No, the team was full of players that did not belong. They were overdue to leave. So I think they should give him until the rest of the season is done. I knew that Arsenal had a shot of winning this title when they won in Florida here in the States in preseason in the summer. That's when you get an indication of how the team is going to perform, for the coming season. So I don't think he should be sacked. I'm not surprised that he's still there. I understand the calls for his head, but I want him to give him time. I'll enjoy the downfall in the time being, but the right thing to do is to give him a chance.
You get the first 10 games of the Premier League next season. That's what I think. You get the first 10 Premier League
Might
games.
Be too late.
Where you are.
Might be too late.
And then by that time, Mo, you've still got time to still save the season, but then you can still look at it and say, okay, we actually gave him a chance rather than just...
Let me flip it.
The thing is, what do you...
now? Let me get a new manager, not now, at the end of the season. Give that new manager the summer to work with the players.
Yeah, okay, that's a possibility. But at the same... Potter is a more proven manager than Arteta was, right? Like he's in every level that he's been a manager at previously, he's done well. He's not used to. I think Tony. There was some quotes coming up from Tony Bloom, who was his chairman at Brighton, saying that Potter is a guy who relies on meticulous planning from the get-go in pre-season, and for him to come in, early season is just it's everything that doesn't work. And then you look at the number of players that have come in. I don't know how many of them he's advocated signing for Chelsea, or how many of them are brought in by other people. You need to give that time to get those players bedded in and get some of those other players that don't fit the system out, and then see where he does. This, it's not going to be a quick. What do Chelsea want? Do Chelsea want to be the Chelsea of Abramovich, which is not what the ownership model is, or do they want to try and do something new and different, or new or different for them at least? I think if they want to go in that direction, which is what it looks like the ownership wants to go in, and I think is more long-term sustainable, because they haven't got, although you've got these venture capitalists taking over at Chelsea, they're not going to be funding them in the same way that, they've spent a lot of money now, but they're not going to be pumping in 200-300 million every summer. That's not, Chelsea are going to be running on a self-sustaining model. They're just trying to front load it and try and make that successful, and then they're going to cut back on spending. That's their plan. If that doesn't work, then there's going to be serious issues.
Yeah, what do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I think they should definitely stick with him. I think I said it when I came on here, I think it's about a month ago or so. And nothing's really changed since then. There's been such a massive overhaul at Chelsea from top to bottom. People talk about the playing staff, but they brought in Graham Potter with all his backroom staff. They basically stripped out the whole of the Brighton recruitment team and brought them as well. They've got a new director of football. They got rid of the whole board. Obviously, the chairman's changed. Every single member of staff from last season to this season is different. Probably even the tea lady's gone. So it's just like, you've got to give Graham Potter and the team and the club time to gel together. He hasn't really been there that long, and some of these players haven't even been there that long. But now, 1st of April, the transfer window shut 2 months ago. Everyone knows what it's like changing jobs. Footballers are humans, are not any different to that. It takes them a long time to settle, especially when you bring in 11 of them. And I actually watched most of the game today, and people might disagree, but I actually thought Chelsea played really well. They had 27 shots to Villa's 5. They can't convert. They have had one of those games where, and we've all seen it amongst all of our teams, Liverpool, Arsenal, United, we've all had those games where it's just not clicking for you. But Chelsea aren't far enough in that process to be able to deal with those setbacks when they come. It happened today for City. We played really well in the first half. Out of nowhere, Salah scores, but City have got the continuity amongst the squad, the manager, to be able to calmly overcome that. When Chelsea are playing well and Cucurella messes up and Watkins puts someone up, it all goes a little bit haywire. They still ended up playing quite well, I thought, for the majority of the game. They still created a load of chances. Villa had 2 shots on target, scored 2 goals. And I think Chelsea are having a few of those games at the moment, the same as against Everton. So they're not quite along that process where they can overcome those sort of games at the moment. But I do think it will come for Chelsea and Graham Potter. He's a good manager, and once he figures out who's staying and who's going in the summer, it's going to make his life a lot easier, because training at the moment and keeping that, not just the dressing room, the whole group of 30 players in Chelsea's books right now.
Some of them, even Badiashile, not in the Champions League squad, he's that good still.
So keeping, managing that situation, like you say, Badiashile coming in big money, not even in the Champions League squad. How do you manage that? There's about 5 other players in that same scenario. So it's, for me, this season is to try and create some sort of continuity in how they're going to play in these next 9-8 games. Try and obviously win as many as they can. Try and obviously beat Real Madrid over 2 legs, and then really start from scratch in pre-season. And wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea are banging the title race next season with the squad they've got.
Look, Sam, you take away Potter, that means you're also going to probably remove all his backroom staff. So then you've got even more upheaval because you've got to bring in a brand new backroom staff, a brand new manager on top of the upheaval that's already happened to get and do it again.
Exactly.
Like, where does it start?
All over again.
I said for Chelsea, the biggest thing was for Chelsea when Abramovich left. I said the biggest issue is going to be the cultural change that's going to need to happen at Chelsea, because Chelsea fans have been used to having Roman Abramovich cover up for all the deficiencies over the last 20, 25 years. That's not going to happen ad infinitum moving forward for under Bowley and these guys. They are going to be running. And someone mentioned about the whole Moneyball model. It didn't work for Oakland A's, but it's the same model that was implemented at the Red Sox, the Moneyball model, and in this time since they've been what's it called? Looking after the Red Sox. No one's won more World Series. Every top team in every top sport in the world uses Moneyball to some extent, or at least uses statistical analysis to some extent. So,
So AMT, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. He said, "I'm sorry that Zerbi is doing much at Brighton in his first season. Dan Potter had a few years at the club. I agree with this.
Let's credit to Potter. By the way, I would give credit to Potter for that.
He's building on top of Potter's work as well.
Exactly. The foundation was there, Mo. The foundation was there from Potter's days.
I think Potter. I liked the way that Potter set up Brighton. I liked the way he played football, but I don't think he's a top manager. I think they need to give him time, but I don't think Chelsea is not the club to give people time with the amount of money they spend. I think when you spend that much money, you want instant success. I think it's too late for him.
You can't just bring in 11 new players and just expect it to work in 2 months. The window's shut.
But that's my problem. Ago. My problem is that every manager now comes into a club and say, I want new 11s. Pep didn't do that. Jurgen Klopp didn't do that. It takes time. Yes, you gel players here and there, but he's been throwing all these players, all these superstars. The problem is, from Pep's first game, I saw a way of playing. I saw a style. Jurgen Klopp the same. Arteta the same. I don't see a style for this guy. I don't see what he's trying to do. I see change of formation, change of even the way they play every game. I don't think he should manage Chelsea. Chelsea are used to winnings and ups and downs and stuff, but I think he's not. I don't think he can handle the players he has. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't read the future, but based on the signs I'm seeing now, I think he should get sacked. He should get sacked today. I think so.
Well, let me play devil's advocate for a second, right? All these managers you talked about, and you saw the style of play right away because you had a core of players that you knew these are your best players.
Arteta didn't.
No, but to some extent, you knew. I mean, I watch Arsenal regularly. So
Erik Ten Hag didn't.
Well, Erik Ten Hag, there's question marks still. Okay, let's not get on a tangent here. I think with
wait until you hear this guy's opinion on Ten Hag. You guys like that? I love it.
Well, the fact that was mentioned that with the size of Chelsea's squad, with so many good players, at least players with potential, it's going to be hard for any manager to know the starting 11 in the first month or 2 or 3. You need time to try all these players and different formations, different combinations, and then you have an idea. The bigger the squad, the tougher the job for the manager.
Definitely, it's not comparable with those other scenarios, because find me another scenario where literally the whole of the football club, from top to bottom, from chairman to player to everything, has been stripped out and replaced in the space of 6 months.
It's true.
We'll see how it is. But anyway, we've gone for an hour. And another fight is about.
That was a quick hour. That was a really good show.
Yeah, it was a really good show. I want to thank everybody that is here. Sam, thank you so much. Congratulations for the win today.
Worries.
Thank you so much for being here. Rack, I'm not sorry. You guys were giving us headaches with the quad last year, so I don't care, to be honest about it. And as long as my guy Mo Salah scored today, I'm happy. I said I wanted Mo Salah to score, but I actually wanted Man City to smash Liverpool because I'm tired of this. So thank you so much for being on the show, being brave, showing your face, and back in your club and back in your manager. So thank you so much. Mahmoud, first timer, thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for ripping Arsenal. Hopefully we'll see you soon again. And time, of course, tomorrow, guys. Rivals Not Virals, 12 p.m. midday UK time. Rivals Not Virals, an amazing show with a big panel. And also maybe at night, we're going to have something else as well.
Yeah, man, guys, keep locked in. Make sure you smash a like before you go. Enjoy the boxing, and guys, thank you for coming on the show as well. Big up the guests as always, and everyone stay blessed. And we'll catch you tomorrow at 12 o'clock.
And in 15 minutes, if you want to hear a rant about Inter, you can join us on Inter Worldwide. We're just gonna have a little bit of fun. So see you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.